Hello, everyone. I am here for our Wednesday Co-Elevation Insta Live series. We get here every Wednesday to and I invite my BFFs here. And today's special guest is, guess who? It's Chris Syrah. And there I see you. Sent him an invite. So as soon as he joins, I'm waiting for him. Yay, there you are. Thank you for joining, and thank you everyone for being here. You guys are in for a treat, okay? Because I can't wait for him to share all the amazing thing he does. But the first time that I heard him speak, okay, I was literally, doing something in my backyard, in my garden. I had to like sit back and just listen to him. Everything that he shared just so resonated with me, and I felt the whole world needs to listen to him, hear him more often, almost every single day. So it's all about being present. So I invite you all and I welcome you all, along with my dear friend Chris, to be present with us over here for these precious 30 minutes. So thank you so much, Chris, for investing your precious time here with me. So the first question I have for you is, what made you decide to dive deep into what you currently do? And of course, let us know what is exactly you do so that people can know.
Of course, of course. That's a great question. And the answer is life made me. And life makes all of us do what we should be doing, where we should be going. And the important thing is to learn to listen, because very often we think we have our own ideas. And and so we get into situations where we kind of become cut off, or stop listening to the guidance that is there, that's built into all of us, that is our authentic self, our inner voice. And we just have to learn to follow it and listen to it a little more. And it really takes care of so many things. Life goes from a roller coaster and difficult and confusion to ease and calm and joy and fun and excitement. Can't wait to look forward. And so that's the gist of it. And how life does that is very different for every single person. Everyone has their own journey. And so mine, was probably forged in very unique ways. And I know early on in life, rootlessness was a big challenge for me. My parents moved around a lot, and so I didn't have a grounding in any culture, one particular culture or language, or a set of friends, and these kind of things. And so that forced me to turn inward and not rely on the external for my sense of safety and identity, but rather to find that in myself. Didn't happen overnight, but eventually it did happen, and it continues to happen, right? The inner journey is an ongoing one, and it's so much bigger and longer and more amazing and endless and vast than kind of this external journey where we're just trying to uh, achieve outcomes and then experience a moment of pleasure and joy and achievement. And then as soon as we cling to that, it turns in sour, right? And then we don't want to lose it. So the external joy and happiness doesn't last very long. In fact, the ability to let go of it and just experience it and be present, like you said, is the most important thing. And then look forward to the next experience. And ultimately, all experiences are amazing because we're alive, and that's amazing.
I love what you're saying and your sound of your voice so much that I don't even want to ask my questions. I don't want that interruption to happen. But I want to honor the time and all these beautiful people who joined. Hello, I see Komal. I see your deep self. Look, we are manifesting. We are attracting those kind of people. Your deep self, Tisha. Aravind, I just love reading out all these handles because I know it relates to their business, their mission, their vision, and also a touch maybe sometimes of their own name, like Sukhwinder and Modi, Mahi, Thakur. Thank you, Roshni. Thank you, everyone, Lavinia, Mash, all for joining and adding your energies to this beautiful space that Chris has created. So you're so right how uniquely our stories, our experiences, our life unfolds and keeps evolving, right? That's the beauty, and that's what I've heard you say always: be present, but also be open to the possibilities and have that wonderment, the childlike wonderment. What is the next opportunity? Like, I've been excited ever since this morning to have this. I was teaching my class earlier, at the back of my
Mm-hmm.
mind, like, oh, my wellness, because it's my Wellness Wednesday. So it's a treat for me. Having you here, having my friends here is a treat for me, because I just soak up energies from people, vibrating at different levels, because again, people are such beautiful gifts of Mother Nature. So the next question I want to ask you is, what is one thing can a person who might be super busy, okay, very busy, in their work, in their to-dos, in their responsibilities, also busy in their heads with lots of thoughts, worries, maybe in, living in their imagination from the past, or also living in the memories of the past, or imagination of the future. So busy in their minds, busy in their bodies. What is maybe one simple thing they can do to bring themselves back to this present moment?
Yes. And indeed, as you describe, it's that busyness of the head that keeps us in its grip. And then the external is a reflection of that. So we're only really experiencing the world as we are experiencing ourselves at any moment. And so when we're really in that head, in the headspace, it's all busy and lots of thoughts, then life will seem very busy and overwhelming and kind of disconnected. And so the trick is to, how can we come out of that headspace to balance it out? There's certain things that we need our mind for. It's an unbelievable gift. It's an unbelievable thing, really. Yes. I love the pom-poms. I only have my green juice here, so that's all I can shake really at the moment.
I'll wave it to you to tease you.
Yes, yes, yes. But so one of the easiest things is really the task is to come out of the head and connect with our body again, because our body is present. It's always there. It doesn't go anywhere. It is here. So what can we do to connect with the body that's quick and easy, that we can practice and integrate into our daily activities? So for me, it's maybe many here have heard of breath work, but it's connecting to the breath. I usually focus on the entrance of my nostrils. If I'm ever confused, or I've hit a creative block, or I'm stressed, or I'm about to walk into an important meeting, anything like that, I always take a moment to focus on the breath, because it takes you out of your mind. It re-anchors you in the body. You feel instant relief. The more you practices this, the better it is, and it's so easy to do. You can do it. The moment you get into the car, before you start the engine, you can do it before you get into an elevator, or before you answer an email. I know often if I have a difficult meeting ahead of me, that I will allocate maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes afterwards. So I can just sit in stillness and focus on my breath, and it brings everything back into equilibrium. So that's an easy one. Super other easy options are going for a walk, if you can do that. Some people do really well in taking a shower. That changes gets you out of your head. You start to feel your body in there, in the water, and the temperature of it. That takes you out of your head and changes things up. If you're feeling stressed or depressed or manic, a quick shower, or even just splash some water in your face over the sink. Really just to get out of the energetic space that you're in, that is causing the stress, that is reinforcing the stress. So anything you can do there, even in relationships and partnerships, if you've been around somebody for a long time, a simple secret to keep it fresh is just to notice detail that you haven't noticed before. Because after a while, after a lot of routine, we start to live from this mental image of who that person is, our expectations of them, but how to break that mental image and actually experience them in front of us in a fresh new way. And that is to look for a little detail, check out their earlobe or an eyebrow or something that you haven't noticed before. And that breaks the routine, the mental image, and suddenly you're there with them again. You're present and experiencing them fresh and anew, and that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, I so love that share from you. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. You're so right. We take for granted. When the minute my husband comes back from his office, I'm going to husband gaze today or tonight. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to feedback, give you feedback. Like there are so many ways. And you're so right. I've not thought about it this way. I also always think like, coming back to your breath, because literally that's the first thing we take when we enter this life, and the last we leave this, world with our last breath. But I did not ever think of it in this way, that yes, our body is always with us, present, right? The way you express right now. So yes, I do hug myself. I love to hug myself, and I inspire other people to do the same. And another thing I do is singing and water splashing, all these things. When, sometimes as entrepreneurs, our brains just go here and there. I
Yes.
can do this. Maybe I should do this, that butterfly effect. So if you want to bring it back, I've always found it like singing. Singing always brings me back to
Mm,
my presence. Like
mm,
for you right now, you are my inspiration. You are the evening star. So that's always at the back of my mind. Always some music, some this free flow is there. And when I actually sing, when I vocalize, it immediately brings me back to presence. So that is one thing. Maybe because right from the beginning, we have been brought up with singing and dancing. That's a kind of rooting that we
mm,
have, that rooted feeling. So I think what you're saying is for people to find what is it that helps them to be in the present moment. And you shared a few options, and of course breath work is wonderful, but I'm guilty of that. And I catch myself again. It's all about catching yourself,
mhm,
right? Are you falling through the cracks? That's what mindfulness or being present really is. Because there are many times in the past, more, and even now sometimes, I would deliberately make things complicated just so that I can give that excuse not to do. The analytical brain kicks in.
mhm.
Oh, it's so hard. That's why I'm not doing it. Not because I'm lazy, not because I'm not wanting to. So, and I find that thing in many people as well. So, what would be your advice? How can you make things simple? What is some of your tips? Because you are like literally a champion, a guru in all these, having walked the walk.
Well, so that there is beauty in simple things, and to recognize that is, I think, uh, it starts making things easier and easier, because you're right. We live through the mental lens, and we start to naturally become complicated and perfectionistic, and kind of overindulge in everything, and we get further and further away from our kind of a state of presence, and experiencing things as they are happening, and we experience more things as we expect them to happen from this mental picture. And then of course, what's happening is different than what we expect to happen, and then we kind of live in a state of friction and resistance. So really recognizing that life is simple. Its nature is to be simple. It's slower. The mind can race at unlimited speeds, right? It jumps around and gets lost in thought all the time. And then if we keep following that, then our life speeds up. We feel like there's no sense of, no time for anything. And that's where everything becomes rushed. So to start to honor the simple things, and because it's through the simple things that we connect to the essence and the nature of life. And so, how can we do some of those things? So, conscious eating, right? Conscious everything, really, but conscious eating, for example, is to look at what's on your fork or your knife or your spoon, and and really give it gratitude of how it wound up on your spoon, right? And you could even trace it back. So this came here because I went to pick it up. How did it get to the store? It's people, it was delivered on the truck, and how many people worked on this in the fields and so forth. And to break this down into very simple steps brings the simplicity that is behind presence to the surface. Whenever we feel challenged by something, for example, my mom had triple bypass surgery, and she's 80, and she was concerned about flying and traveling long distances. So in our minds, this sitting in a plane forever, and all of this can be overwhelming. But it's just a thought. Now, if we break this down into individual tasks of, I'm folding my clothes, I'm placing my clothes into my suitcase, I'm carrying the suitcase to the door, I'm taking one step at a time down the stairs. Now I'm sitting in a car. Now I'm waiting in line. And all of this, the act of being present, every single act is very, very simple, very basic. So if we start to align ourselves with very simple tasks one at a time, then we never get into this frantic state of trying to get there. That takes us out of the present moment. Trying to live for outcomes, then we're really not living in the present moment. And then we're just attaching ourselves to an idea of how life should happen. And that takes away the magic of life happening in all the wonderful, mysterious ways that it does happen. And focus on the step by step aspects of whatever you're doing. You're pouring a glass of water. You're picking up the glass. You're bringing it to your lips. You're tasting every drop if you can. Or if you're in the shower, you're feeling the drops. They're running down your skin, and all so forth. And this simplicity of these moments keeps everything fresh, keeps the flow from happening. You feel energized. You feel like you're moving forward. Um, and so it's a happy place. And then you'll experience that happiness and that joy. And then it just speaks for itself.
Oh, I like gazing at your husband's earlobes. I'm already imagining that being in my happy place.
Yes.
Oh, so beautifully and so simply you have broken down. Did I not tell you guys the moment he opens his mouth, it's like pearls dropping, like magic drop. Thank you so much. And again, thank you all for joining and smashing those heart buttons, because literally that's our oxygen. That adds to the energy, to the vibe for us to come up with ideas, what we can share. And this is very real and raw, guys, right? Now, nothing about perfection. Just every Wednesday, I invite my friends that I feel so connected immediately, or maybe we have known for each other long, just so that we can catch up together and share some ideas. At the same time, while doing so, help as many people as we are doing. Because again, as, as busy entrepreneurs, we do get involved in our to-do. So this is really a wonderful time to chillax and get to know each other. So my next question would be, again, I could just listen and I would agree. I'm sure people would agree that they would also love to listen to you for hours, like carry your voice somewhere in their pockets or purses to play. So my next question is, where can people find the amazing you when they need? How can they get in touch with you?
Oh, that's very kind. So I try to do my best to do these live streams. I'll try to plan those some more, but when they come up, hopefully you get the notifications. Also on Clubhouse, where this is being broadcast. Great ingenuitive way, by the way, to do both at the same time. That's brilliant, actually. I have a background in tech, and I didn't think of this at all. So very creative, very insightful there. Obviously, my website, Sirach.com, and then my book is on Amazon and different, pretty much all the bookstores, and so you can look for me there.
So www.sirac.com.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it in the comments, and I'll also put it in the comments of the post. So it will be stored in my IGTV series of Instagram co-elevation. So co-elevation, what we do, again, we're beautiful people getting together to co-elevate each other. So just as you were sharing, right, being mindful, work on your breath work. And I do those, I also talk about those, teach those, practice those. But I tell you all beautiful people, all of you are our best accountability buddies, because it's a process, right? It's never, the term expert doesn't exist in my dictionary, because literally not knowing, it's a wonderful space to be, right? There's so much to learn. So like you broke it down. Yes, when I eat my food, because I belong from an Ayurvedic background. So it's, yes, I always imagine with lots of gratitude, like blessing your food, blessing your water. But it's mostly like I'm thinking of the plant in its original form, like a seedling in the ground. But I have never thought the processes that you explained. So now I'm going to put that in my practice, that every step, folding the clothes. I don't like to fold clothes, by the way, but whenever I do, I will now be very mindful and I will teach my kids. So thank you so much for this
Yeah.
precious pearls adding on to my, tool belt that I'm going to practice. I hope you all are getting a lot of value from Sirach spending time here, Chris being here and sharing his incredible knowledge. What is it that the people you feel are challenged with in today's world? It's a lot of there's a lot of difference between maybe the way you and me grew up. I don't know. I'm gonna be. I am 44 years old. You might be way younger than me, but when we were little kids to when our kids are being born and the way we are right now, technology. So what is the biggest challenge people are facing because of that?
Yeah, there's so many great questions. There's so many stimuli that are constantly pulling us into our head. Everything, media, advertising, products, services. Everything is it's evoking judgment in us, and it's not judgment as in a negative way, but it's evoking the brain judging something as right or wrong, good or bad, for me, not for me, against me. Um, I agree with that. I disagree with that. This is all mental activity, mental judgment, and that's how the mind works. It judges things. It's like it assesses them, right? It's a tool of discernment. So
And
it's
self-preservation.
and self-preservation as well, right? So we're constantly being bombarded with these stimuli that pull us into our head and ask us to judge, and when we're constantly in that state, then we lose connection to our body. Our inner voice gets really tiny, mute. You can barely hear it at all, and then we kind of get lost in these external voices. They're telling us what to do, who we're supposed to be, and then we really lose touch with ourself and our authentic self. So this generation and the last years of technology are particularly challenged that we're getting so pulled into our head all the time, because everything is evoking judgment from us, and then that feeds on itself, and it's not a good feeling space. Conversely, or at the same time, we're also not taught to connect with our bodies. So nowhere in school or anywhere really are we taught the tools, unless later on, like we're doing right now, we run across information that tries to help us reconnect, right, to that connected space that we were born into. We're all born like crazy connected, pure connection, right? to
Yes,
to ourselves,
yes.
to being pure presence, right? And then we kind of slowly get pulled out of that more and more and more. But which is not either. We're here to experience the 3D world, the physical world as well. But we should be experiencing it from a place of connectedness to self. And when we're connected to self, there's a truth in there that's different from the mental truth. The mental truth is I'm right and everyone else is wrong. The mental truth is always looking for validation. And so again, that keeps us stuck in our head. But the inner truth doesn't require others to agree with you. You know it's your truth, and you trust it, and there's such deep calm and peace that comes from that. And you actually want others to have their inner truth as well, because you know how right it feels, and it doesn't need anyone to keep validating it for you. So that then creates a sense of togetherness. So often you hear, focusing on yourself. Self-care is selfish. And no, 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 no. By really connecting to your inner truth, it takes the mental truth that is judging others, and rates them based on how much they agree with you or not. That creates distance. That creates separateness. It's a conditional truth. And there's always problems when we get into conditional situations, right? Then we steer and control everything and people and things, and we're in friction and resistance to what's happening. But the inner truth, so connected to everyone, and everyone else wanting to discover their truth, it brings us closer, brings us to that place of unity, of feeling one with everyone around us. So self-care, self-love creates unity and peace for everyone. So Yo,
Yes,
I love that. I
you're,
love all your
you're,
all
these
your
are all my girls,
paraphernalia
I
there.
guess.
Yes. Oh my God, I got to get
11
myself
years
some
old.
of that. Some of these props.
I'm going
Very
to flash
nice.
it in till you get in and start flashing it back on my face. I'm going to tantalize you.
Yes.
But you're so right, and we are intricately intertwined, right? And life is so precious and it's so short. So I think, if you're not constantly focused on the outcome all the time, goal orientation is good, but it again begins from connecting with our inner purpose, our inner self, because it will just manifest, right? It happens every time. I think it has happened to you as well. Universe just puts those signs forth and those resources, those possibilities, again, when we are connected to our inner self. And that's a very beautiful space to be, very peaceful and a very confident space to be when we are connected with our inner self, because it doesn't really matter what other people think and what other people
Exactly.
do to us. It doesn't matter as long as we are serving people. We follow an acronym called OWL, only with love, in our family, in our team, and service.
Oh.
Because if we follow that, if we always, and those are the acronyms, I'm very fond of acronyms. So if those mantras that has been handed down to me by my parents, by my mom-in-law, and also the ones we follow, those acronyms again are like gentle reminders every time that I'm falling through the crack. If I'm having a consultation with someone who is energetically, a little down because of situations happening, right? People behave or people say things or do because they have had certain experiences either in the past,
Mm.
trauma, or so. As other people come into their lives, I think the beauty of together, again, doing hashtag all things good together, is to raise someone and be raised by someone, right? Like it's a chain
Mm.
kind of.
Yes.
So, and it's
Yes.
like a cycle because nobody's like super top. I'm on the top. I know it all, because we do again fall. Then we need someone else to help us up. So then only with love, this owl, when I bring it to my consciousness, it's like, okay, as long as I can serve, I can listen only with love, then we can serve people, our spouse, our children, our the clients, customers, because then we learn to be patient, we learn to be present, we learn tolerance, resilience. All these comes because love is
Mm.
universal, right? Doesn't need
Yes.
reciprocation. It's our integral part of us human beings, and we have evolved so fast in our mental realms. It takes people like you, as I say. I just feel that every room in Clubhouse or every channel in whatever social media needs to have one Chris C. Rack everywhere. Okay, his sound, his words, to bring us to that state of being present. So you are truly a present, my brother. I
Oh.
so loved you and this share that, and also very grateful for you to come and spend these precious minutes with us. So super
Oh.
grateful to you. Mwah!
Oh. Oh
Love
my
you.
gosh.
Big hugs to you.
My kisses
Thank
back.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you, every person we see you. Thank you for joining. We acknowledge your presence as well. Stay healthy and stay blessed and continue to be a blessing to as many people as you can. Beautiful way to live, right? How can I help? How can I help? Keep asking that, and stay healthy and joyful, my dears. Any last word or thought? I know we are over the time limit. So if you can share any last word, thought, word of wisdom, or any advice.
Absolutely. So, everything that resonates here, everyone that is here, when you're feeling, our words, this is something that's not coming from us. You're recognizing it within yourselves. All of this is in there. The light of all that love, owl, I love it, is within us, and it's really just about peeling back the layers and allowing it to shine. We don't have to become someone that we're not. You already have everything that you want and could possibly desire within you. You are complete, you are whole, even if it doesn't feel like that. That's maybe the mind speaking, but we keep searching, and everyone that tuned in is seeking and is looking to become more their authentic self. So I always say, be happy, be free, be you.
Be happy, be free, be you. I'm going to make a song out of this. I love making songs. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And keep his wise words in your heart space, in your mind, and keep embracing the love that he just shared here. Thank you so much for being that lighthouse, my dear. Continue to
Thank you,
shine
Mo. Thank
with
you.
me.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
We'll
Bye.
hop back into the clubhouse room for those people who were not able to join or who are not on Instagram to say a quick bye to them. And I will have this posted in our Instagram live series called Co-Elevation. We rise together. A rising tide indeed lifts all boats. So bye, my friends. Okay, I'm gonna say bye-bye.